welcome back to Reverse Shot, the show where we take a look at the foibles and the problems of today's media environment. With me now is a good friend, Rebecca Aguilar. Rebecca is multiple Emmy Award winner, former SBJ president, and I want to get it right. Hispanic, you tell me, Rebecca, former president?
The National Association of Hispanic Journalists. I'm their
Yes.
former vice president and a Hall of Famer.
There you go. So, Rebecca, you're here today because we're talking a little bit about the latest controversy in American journalism, and it has to do with a woman that I know, Olivia Nuzzi. She's in her 30s and was recently given leave from New York Magazine after it was disclosed, and she didn't disclose it, that she had had an improper relationship with a source, i.e., RFK Jr. And while they said that didn't affect a profile piece that she did, it was an inappropriate relationship, and so she's on leave. And there's all kinds of screaming back and forth. The thing that now look, I adhere to, and we could recite, but I will post it in comments, the SPJ Code of Ethics. And there are people who think this is commonplace for us all the time. That reporters screw around, sleep with everybody. We don't do. That's how we get sources and jobs. In fact, there's a famous movie, broadcast news, where they're having an ethical discussion. They go, "Is it ethical to sleep with a source to get a story?" And the female reporter said yes, and the male reporter says she didn't know there was any other way to do it. It's horrifying, and that's kind of wooden and leaden in today's world. But this is, you're the former president of SBJ. Set it straight. This is not something that we do every day, nor is it something that we endorse or believe is all right. Yes?
I agree that it is not something that reporters go out and think, I'm going to have an inappropriate or a very mysterious relationship with a source. Once you think you're going down that path or you're going to cross the line, you need to stop and decide, am I going forward and possibly lose my job and my credibility, or am I going to stop and tell the bosses? Because eventually it will be flushed out by your competition, by even the source when they turn on you. It's just wrong. And I find it a good article to read is one by Nikki Ramirez, who's with the Rolling Stone. And she interviewed Ben Smith with Semaphore, right? And he said something about, the something that it's kind of, it happens in journalism. I'm trying to find this quote. He said something like, reporters have all sorts of compromising relationship with sources. And that he went on to say, sex barely rates. Seriously? No, that's not true. I have never in my 40 plus years had an inappropriate or a relationship that I knew that crossed the line. That is not, it is unethical. It is unethical. So I say to this relationship, I'm glad that they're looking into it. New York Magazine is looking into it. But for anybody who's a journalist or a wannabe journalist, you have to decide. Are they going to be sources or not? You have to decide, do you want to keep your reputation intact or not? Because understand, as women, we get criticized even more.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that pisses me off. When I think of that quote, it angers me to the core because I wouldn't allow a police, if I'm meeting with a source, like say it's Paul Buskey or at the police department in San Antonio, I wouldn't let those people buy me a cup of coffee. I wouldn't. We went Dutch. These were sources, and I had a source to me one time say, "Hey, you're a friend." I go, "No, no, no. I'm not your friend. I am a reporter. I'm a professional doing a job. You're a source." After we no longer have that relationship, after you're out of office or otherwise, if you want to be friends, fine, but you're a source, and that you have to maintain that professional distance. And I think part of the problem we have is that people think we're just in bed with everybody. We don't give a shit, and that frustrates me to no end. You?
Yeah. Well, that's something that I tell, I talk to college students every week, pretty much. And I tell them that it is difficult. In a sense, they do become your friends, but you always have to remind them, I'm a reporter first. If you're screwing the city or if you're messing with, doing people wrong, I'm going to out you. I will be the first one. I remind people, yes, we will have a professional relationship and we will be cordial and friendly to each other. But I've had places where I've been at the courthouse where I'll approach a judge and they'll scan you up and down. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Because I know what they're doing. I've had cops flirt with me. And I'm like, okay, no, don't do that. Please. I'm like, what's wrong, Rebecca? I go, you know what? I don't play that game. Let's just be honest. But as also as men and women, when you see those sources going down that lane, you need to say stop. You need to say, hey, you know what? I don't need this. And sometimes I think that the lines get blurred because we do become too close. Have I bought a source a cup of coffee? Yes, I have. Maybe it's because
I've
we're at
bought a
Starbucks.
source a cup of coffee, but I won't let them buy me one.
Yeah,
I'm not letting them
yeah,
give me any presents. None of it.
right. Because it'll come back. It'll come back, especially as they say, more than $50.
Yeah.
That's and people do that, right? But I think that you have to learn how to draw the line, even though these people, you become very close to them. I mean, they become, as the Watergate people, a deep throat source, someone that is willing to risk their job, their reputation, to tell you something, to expose. That's how close you become with them. But at the same time, you have to realize, why are they trusting me so much? And when it is exposed, let's say this person comes forward, you don't want this person to come forward and say, well, I was her deep throat source because I was sleeping with her.
Yeah.
Or no, or him.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's not just a woman thing. And this is what bothers me about this right now, is that everybody thinks, oh, look, Olivia had this relationship with RFK. Men do it with female sources too.
And excuse me, there was a man involved in this. He knew it was unethical. RFK, I mean, he was, let's take it out of the realm of the professional. He's married, okay? That's a scumbag thing to do.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm going to push back on this. He was the subject.
Yes.
It is her job.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no,
we can judge him. I mean, come on.
no, I
He's
agree
been,
with you.
how many marriages?
All I'm saying about it is, no, I agree with you 100%. He was the source. She knew better. She shouldn't have engaged in it. Absolutely. But he also had an ethical breach himself. There was a mutual
And you know
breach
who
of
else is
ethics.
guilty? You know who else is guilty are the enablers. There had to be people in New York Magazine who knew.
Oh,
There had to be people. If you know your reporters, you know what makes them tick. You know, hey, what's going on here? How did you get this information? Because sometimes this, sometimes you have to tell the boss who's your source. They don't want to get sued.
yeah.
But then you have to wonder, how did this happen? How did it get here? So a lot of times I think that, I think there's people at New York Magazine. I'm sure that there was somebody within the Washington circle of correspondence that probably tipped off, Oliver Darcy, who ended up breaking the story. And by the way, semaphore Ben Smith told Rolling Stone he got offered the tip, but he passed on it because, again, he didn't think it was a story. Baloney, it is a story because
But he
these
follows
are the
up
course.
afterwards, right? He lets someone else break it, then he follows. But
Right.
it becomes a story when somebody else takes the chance.
But why would you? You're the editor in chief of this media outlet. She's covering a major campaign, a presidential
Candidate.
candidate who dropped out, right? It is a story. I mean, it surprises me. Again, maybe he passed on it because he's a male. Maybe he passed on it because, who knows? But to me, I would question Mr. Smith and say, really? You're going to pass on this story? Kudos to Oliver Darcy,
Yeah.
an amazing journalist.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, here's the question. Tubin, we all know Jeffrey Tubin got caught masturbating on camera. He's back on the air.
And by the way, just to tell your viewers or your podcast listeners that he's an attorney who was being paid by CNN to be one of their political talking heads.
And
Yes.
he's no pun intended. And he's back on the air with his talking head.
With CNN.
And
Yeah.
so should she be fired? Do you think she should be fired?
Gosh. Obviously, yes, if they find something where she used her experiences, whether appropriate or inappropriate, to find something out in the story. I think they have to analyze every story she's done there. But, on the other hand, I say no. I say that take her off the beat. Obviously, she's a good reporter. I mean, come on. She was hired in her early 20s to work for one media outlet. And then I think, she was in her 20s when she got hired by New York Magazine. I mean, what woman, what person that age gets that benefit? So obviously, this woman is a very talented writer reporter. So I say, if they don't fire her, take her off the political beat. Because unfortunately, every time she covers, whether it's Harris or Trump, you're wondering, what's going on here? And you don't want that. You don't want the viewer, the listener, the
It's the
reader to
appearance.
second guess.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
appearance of impropriety that we have to, and it may not even, that's the thing. There is appearance and there is reality. The appearance of
Hmm.
impropriety will destroy your credibility in this business, whether or not it exists. So her, even if her obviously inappropriate interaction with RFK Jr. did not compromise her ability as a reporter. It's the appearance of and the question that comes up afterwards forever. And I'm with you. I don't know that you say that's the end of her career. I do know her. I know I guess now ex-fiance, Ryan Elizabeth, both of them very talented reporters, and she's a very talented writer. We saw her in the White House on a few occasions during the Trump years. Not so much recently. But yeah, I don't know that if you it's the instant death, chop off the head crap that bothers me, and it usually happens. And I'm going to say it as the token male in the room. It usually happens to women first, and men get a second chance at a career.
Oh,
So
totally. I mean, look at Bill O'Reilly. Bill
I'd rather
O'Reilly
not. But
gets dumped
okay,
by
go ahead.
Fox, right? Bill O'Reilly gets dumped by Fox. Fox has to pay millions of dollars to women who were suspected of being, or say they were sexually harassed by this man, right? And now he's on News Nation with Cuomo, with Cuomo, who also, was fired for being unethical because of the brother, the governor. They get jobs. They're on News Nation being paid good money. Oh, they promote each other, two white males. No, Olivia should be able to keep her profession. Just move her off the beat. Just move her off the beat. Have her cover environment. Have her cover something else. I mean, if she is that good of a reporter, she can cover another beat. But I say stay away from politics because she will always be questioned. And more than anything, this woman is a very attractive, blonde young woman. She'll be even criticized more because it is an ugly world out there. And I always tell beautiful blonde women, you got to work just as hard, you know, to show people that, just because I'm a blonde, beautiful woman, it doesn't mean I'm a dumb blonde.
Right.
I know what I'm doing. I know how to do my job. I don't know if they have it as hard as women of color because we go through a lot, but I do know that sometimes women, especially blonde women, are judged because of their appearance. Oh, she got the job because she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, she must be a really good writer. I've not followed a lot of her work, but I've seen her as a commentator on CNN and I've seen that she carries herself very well, knows how to explain her point of view. But this will definitely, it's not going to ruin her career. It will be something that will follow her forever, and hopefully she will be able to learn herself. And if it's true that she was sending pictures that were risque to Kennedy, then you learn from it. Then you learn. I mean, I'm really surprised because, again, I read, Nikki Ramirez's story in the Rolling Stone. I recommend that everybody read it, where, it talks about the risque pictures that she texted him and those kind of things. If that is true, hopefully she will learn. Again, she's 31 years old. I'm not saying people in their 30s or 20s are not mature and make wrong decisions. My son's 28.
Well, yeah, we were
Right?
all that age once and made some wrong decisions. I'm just going to
Right.
say, from the invention of the cell phone and to being able to take those type of pictures, I know damn well that's going to end up someplace I don't want it. I've never,
Right.
if you can find one of me, it's going to be me and my corn stalks, out in my
First thing,
garden. That's
yeah. First thing I tell students and I tell people I mentor: don't post. A post can make or break you.
yeah,
And in this case,
don't do it. But
yeah,
something you said, and I really want to touch on this because this is at the heart of the matter. The problem with the press, I think, is we. You mentioned some of the people like Bill O'Reilly and others who have had major problems ethically, and are still on the air. And at the end of the day, I think that compromises our credibility as journalists. It's one of the reasons why people today are so happy to, on both sides of the political aisle, insult us and tell us that we're not doing a good job because of people who are obviously part of the access crowd, have some money, have weathered this type of stuff, and are still there. And I don't know if there's look, I urge everyone to read the SPJ Code of Ethics, the do no harm part, the part about
Here it
explaining
is.
your ethics. Yeah, I have it myself, and I
Yeah.
encourage it. But there are many cases where the owners of companies do not follow this and encourage. And even though some of the worst atrocities have occurred from reporters or our on-air personnel, they're still there. That's a huge problem to me.
It is. It is a huge problem. It's unfortunate that they make these kinds of decisions. I personally am glad that Fox, got rid of O'Reilly. Again, he's different from Olivia because Olivia is a journalist. He's just
A talking
literally
head.
a talking head. Yeah, that's what he is. Like Laura, what's her name, right? Or all those people over there. I mean, they had quite a few people, I think,
That have never
let go.
reported, have never had to go down to City Hall, have never had to try to get a police report, have no clue how to
Right.
act in a city council meeting, and yet they're offering their opinions to us as if they're experts. Yeah, that
Exactly.
pisses me off.
Exactly. I think that what happened to in this situation with the journalist and the politician, every professor, journalism professor, should be teaching this topic because it's going to happen. I've seen journalists, males and females. Here they are posting photos of them in their strong abs or women in their bikinis, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, you still have to draw a line because you're still putting your image out there. Do you want me to take you seriously as a journalist, or the woman, you look hot in the bikini, and that's fine, but we're not influencers. We don't sell products. We don't sell shampoos and makeup. I see a lot of journalists
Yeah.
putting on their makeup on TikTok, which is fine. I mean, if that's your thing, but at least when you're putting on your makeup, tell me what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on with the Harris waltzing. Don't tell me about, hey, I'm putting on Maybelline and these false eyelashes, because supposed to be the journalist. Let the influencers do that, which I have respect for influencers. I mean, I think that they do a job of marketing and doing whatever they do, right? I mean, they're millionaires compared to us. But, when
Everyone
I
is
went into
compared to
journalism,
us, but that's it. You don't get into
yeah,
this job and do it right and expect to make a lot of money. You get in
right.
this
I mean,
job.
unless and yeah, and Anderson, the people that get paid like Anderson Cooper, I mean, it's still like less than 1% in our
Yeah.
business. So I just think, yeah, code of ethics, which real quick, seek the truth and report it, minimize harm, act independently, be accountable and transparent. Yeah, Olivia did not follow all that, but here it is, New York Magazine. You should be teaching this to all your people because I'm sure if she got this far in this situation, there's others there too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But as I said, I look. I reached out to Olivia. Full disclosure, I'm obviously I wouldn't want to speak if I were her. She doesn't want to speak. I get it. Um, but it's not at this point in time. The story is beyond her. The story is about journalism, and the story that remains: what do we do right and what do we do wrong, and how do we let our audience know that look, we're all human beings. We're all going to falter. We're all going to make mistakes. That happens. Part of the journalism code of ethics in the SPJ guide that you mentioned, the one that I find most salient and most relevant to everything that you do that's wrong, is admit your mistakes. Come out and admit your mistakes and say, listen, mea culpa. This is the correct way of doing it. If you can't do that, there's no room for you in journalism, as far as I'm concerned, because we're all going to make mistakes. If you pretend that you can't, or if you pretend that, then that's one step towards Roy Cohn's Trumpism. Attack, never admit defeat, and always aggressively defend. So that's, and never admit you're wrong. That's one of his. You've got to admit you're wrong. That's what differentiates us from everyone else.
I don't think she should lose her
Yeah,
career. I don't
I
think
don't
this
either.
is the end of her career. I do think that she should be on another beat until she builds back the credibility that she has lost in covering the political, because every time, no matter what politician, especially a male, that she interviews and you see a big profile, you're going to wonder, I wonder if she crossed the line. And that will take time.
Yeah.
But if you allow all these men, including the talking heads, get back on TV after they've done unethical things, the Cuomos, the O'Reillys, everybody, then she should be given an opportunity to come back and do and cover another beat, because obviously she's a good journalist. She made a decision here that she needs to grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, a lot of it is, if it is true that she was sending him risque photos and that he claims she was basically stalking him, and that's what in the Rolling Stone article, then she needs to grow up. Be mature. Stop thinking about yourself and, maybe caught up in yourself, and think about, wow, how is this going to affect not only my team at New York Magazine, but journalists, but females? Because every time females, and understand, I think it's different for women of color, but females, period, every time we move forward, right, something like this takes us back. And while, the public is forgiving.
Rebecca, I think it hurts us all. Not just.
No, but not as much as white males.
Well, no,
sorry,
no.
Not as much
no,
as
white males seem to get away with a lot more.
Right.
I'm talking about professional
journalism. Not even just white males. Males, period. Males, period.
I think the.
I mean, when you have somebody like Ben. Right, but when you have someone like Ben Smith who runs Semaphore, right, and says, well, this is common. No, it is not.
And it shouldn't
it
be.
Is not.
It should not be.
Because
and
that's how he thinks.
Yeah.
Ask any woman. I'm sure if you ask, I'd love to know what the 19th, the women who run that group, think of this.
Yeah.
Because again, she obviously, Olivia Nuzzi is obviously a talented journalist and writer.
Yeah.
Did she make a mistake? Yes, she did. But should she lose her career? No. Because if she needs to lose her career, so should all those other people that we just named. They should be gone. And they're not gone. They're still selling books. They're on News Nation.
Yeah. And on that note, you're right. And on that note, listen, I want to thank you for joining me to talk about it, because
thank you.
It's a very important issue. It's one of the things that I think we need to talk about when it happens in the moment, and also not in the moment. And again, I urge everyone to read the SPJ Code of Ethics, to see how it is that we're supposed to act, how it is that we're expected to act, and what we need to do to promote our profession. It was Ben Bagdicki, and I'll close with that. Your ultimate responsibility is not to yourself. It's not to the people who own the operation. It's to your audience. And that is where, if there's a failure here, it's the failure to adequately communicate and be open with your audience. So,
and can I just say one thing? Yeah. I hope Olivia gives you an interview. I hope she can talk openly and honestly. I'm sure right now she's finding out who her real friends are and realizing the people she thought were her friends are not there supporting her. I, as a female, I, as a journalist, I, as a woman who have probably been through a few controversies, hope to tell her one day
we all have.
that you will learn from this. You will grow from this. You will not make this mistake again, hopefully, but talk about it. Because if RFK Jr. can talk about it through sources, and usually he's probably the source, then you talk about it. You stand up for yourself. You definitely talk about the mistakes you've done. You talk about how you will come out as a better journalist and a better representative for journalism, period.
And Olivia, if you're listening, I'd love to sit down and talk to you. I'll be fair. If anybody else will, I will. So listen, thank you.
Oh, I'm fair.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I love you having you here. Rebecca, thank you so much. The name of the show is Reverse Shot. We want to thank you for joining us. We will catch you next time.